The most popular faction in wrestling today is definitely the Bloodline. For the past 2 years, that group has dominated in the world of professional wrestling. Apart from that, on the flip side, in AEW, the most popular faction in recent memory is the Blackpool Combat Club, consisting of Jon Moxley, Bryan Danielson, ROH World Heavyweight Champion Claudio Castagnoli, and the young gun Wheeler Yuta. With the recent departure of one of the founding fathers, William Regal, one can only speculate who could be added to the butt-kicking quartet in the near future. This is your captain speaking. Here are 12 wrestlers who would be a great fit for the Blackpool Combat Club. Before we begin the list, make sure you like this video, share this video, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to comment below and let us know who you think would be the next member of the BCC. Now, to begin with, we've chosen 3 tag teams, 3 female combatants, and 3 male wrestlers who would be a great fit for the group. Number 3, tag teams, Santana and Ortiz. Probably the most unlikely of the duos on this list to ever team up again, Santana and Ortiz would be an awesome fit for the BCC. The two began teaming together in 2012 and then transitioned to Impact Wrestling and then later AEW, where they became successful in the popular faction known as the Inner Circle alongside Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, and Jake Hager. After the faction fell through, the duo went their separate ways from their Inner Circle comrades and joined forces with Eddie Kingston. Behind the scenes, however, for whatever reason, the two no longer get along, and it's unlikely we'll ever see them as a team up again. But they will definitely be a great fit for the BCC as their brutal style and swagger coordinates with the other members. Number 2, Top Flight. It's no secret Dante and Darius Martin are destined for great things in AEW. Dante alone gained popularity by taking superstars to their limits when facing them one-on-one like Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley. Even recently, since uniting as a team after Darius returned from injury, the two have been breaking ground. Even on the December 28, 2022 episode of AEW Dynamite, Top Flight took Claudio Castagnoli and Jon Moxley to the brink, but came up short. It's that kind of heart and determination that make them awesome fits for the BCC. Just ask Wheeler Yuta. Number 1, FTR. No team has had a better 2022 than Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler. The top guys at one point held the ROH, AAA, and IWGP tag team titles all at the same time, as well as putting on 5-star matches against the Briscoe brothers and even themselves when they faced off against each other in the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. With their skill, technical ability, and intelligence to put on those type of matches, it's a wonder why Tony Khan hasn't added them to the crew already. Maybe it's because they're destined for WWE. Their contract runs out soon. Now let's get into the women competitors. Number 3, Ruby Soho. Since coming into AEW, Ruby has certainly struggled to find her footing in the AEW women's division. But then again, so are many of the competitors in that division. But nonetheless, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that Ruby has the tools to become a champion. By joining the BCC, not only will she find her identity in the AEW women's division, but it puts her around credible athletes that can mentor her and take her to the next level, a la Wheeler Yuta. Number 2, Saraya. It's no secret 2022 has been one of, if not the greatest year in professional wrestling in a long time. From Cody Rhodes jumping ship from AEW back home to WWE, to the MJF pipe bomb, to the all-out brawlout with CM Punk and the Elite, to Vince McMahon stepping down as the head of WWE because of legal woes, to Triple H actually taking over and making the whole brand watchable again. But one of the most exciting things that took place in 2022 was the return of Saraya, formerly known as Paige in WWE, as she returned to the squared circle. If you're going to add a badass female to your faction, who better than Saraya? A revolutionary catalyst in women's wrestling around the globe, she represents what the BCC is all about. No nonsense, butt kicking, and asking questions later. And number 1, Hikaru Shida. Arguably the best talent on the AEW women's roster. The former women's champion is definitely none to mess with. Even though she's a great in-ring technician and striker, she can definitely benefit from joining forces with the BCC. Not only does that merit her as one of the ones to look out for, but it also positions her into having something she hasn't legitimately had since she's been on the AEW roster, and that's a true, authentic, credible feud. Now for the top 3 wrestlers who should join the Blackpool Combat Club. Number 3, Samoa Joe. One of my absolute favorite wrestlers to watch is Samoa Joe. I actually hope he goes back to WWE, not because they're better than AEW, but because he's owed a WWE Championship title run. It's no doubt in my mind, had it not been for injury and Vince McMahon, Joe would have been one hell of a WWE champion. Apart from that, his entertaining style and brutal offense is something to see every time he comes to the ring, as well as his in-ring psychology. And he's no nonsense on the mic. He just gets it. Putting him alongside Jon Moxley, Bryan Danielson, Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta, they would be the most dominant faction in AEW history. But it's just a fantasy. We know Joe doesn't play well with others. Number 2, Eddie Kingston. It's no question that Eddie Kingston is one of the most entertaining guys to watch in AEW. His style of wrestling, similar to Japanese legend Jun Akiyama, is definitely the BCC way. Not to mention, his well-documented friendship with Jon Moxley would definitely be a key contributor to major storylines down the road, like the situation between him and Bryan Danielson during Blood and Guts. Yep, if there's one guy who belongs in the Blackpool Combat Club, it's definitely Eddie Kingston. And finally, number 1, Kyle O'Reilly. Even though he's out with injury, prior to that, it seemed like Tony Khan was setting up a long-awaited Elite versus Undisputed Elite Trios match. But because of his injury, Adam Cole's wrestling future uncertainty, as well as Bobby Fish's lackluster run and departure from AEW, the chances of that Dream Trios match happening are pretty slim. However, when he gets off injury, what better way to initiate him into the BCC than having another Dream match as a replacement, with O'Reilly going one-on-one with the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. The two would definitely put on a 5-star match for sure. Kyle O'Reilly is the perfect fit for the BCC because of his MMA background and submission style and in-ring ability. It's inevitable that he will be a world champion one day. Well, that's our list. Thank you guys for listening. Make sure you look out for more of our content down the road. Also, please look into our Who Would Have Won series. I know our first episode got taken down because of copyright issues, but we're looking to set things up again and rearrange some things so we'll be able to actually put that episode out for you. Thank you for those who actually watched the content while it was uploaded to YouTube. But again, there were some copyright issues, so we're gonna fix those things. But episode 2 was gonna come out soon with Sting versus The Undertaker. Look us up on Instagram and make sure you subscribe to this channel. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to love God, love wrestling, and stay fly. Peace.